Happy Thursday. Welcome into the 49ers Report right here on Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in. As always, greatly appreciate all of you for making the 49ers Report a part of your day. Another loaded and fantastic show on tap for you all today. Brock Purdy, disrespected by Dan Orlovsky of ESPN. Christian McCaffrey named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month. His numbers staggering. Could John Lynch leave the Niners, or is he staying? We'll dive into that, and two teams interviewing, or at least want to interview DeMeco Ryans, Carolina Panthers, and this just in, the rival Arizona Cardinals. Stay tuned for it all. Appreciate all of you for hanging out with us, and I hope you kick it with us on Saturday. We will be going live for our NFC Wild Card Watch Party right here on the 49ers Report against the Seattle Seahawks, 90 minutes before kickoff. It all begins, our show, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. Make sure you subscribe and join us. Turn on your notifications. Therefore, whenever we push out a video in general and when we go live like this, you will be notified. We begin with Brock Purdy, and first we start off on a positive note because Brock Purdy receiving a pretty impressive accolade after he was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month, and his numbers over the last month, absolutely fantastic. He completed just over 68% of his passes. He threw for more than 1,300 yards, 13 passing touchdowns, and a passer rating of 112. And now Brock Purdy is 5-0 as a starter, and in each of his starts, he has thrown multiple touchdowns, and he has helped lift the Niners' offense, adding another explosive downfield element to it, and he's helped this team secure that number 2 seed in the NFC playoff picture. That's the good. Here's the bad and the ridiculousness coming from Dan Orlovsky and his playoff quarterback rankings. Here's how he ranks all of the quarterbacks in the playoff picture in the AFC and in the NFC. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Josh Allen. The top 3, pretty solid. This is when it starts to get a little bit sketchy, and I'm actually okay with Jalen Hurts being number 4, but right now he's injured and the jury is out. Justin Herbert at 5, there's no doubt he has stupid talent. Lamar Jackson at 6, he's not even playing. Tom Brady, you disrespect the GOAT at number 7, Daniel Jones at 8, Trevor Lawrence at 9, Geno Smith at 10, and then the final 4 among the 14 playoff teams, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and Skylar Thompson. It is disrespectful to have Brock Purdy and Skylar Thompson in the same conversation. And my thoughts about this list, the top 3-4 are pretty solid. Pretty tough to argue. In my opinion, when I evaluate quarterbacks, I like Joe Burrow ahead of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen because I believe he's the best pure quarterback out there. Lamar at 6, wild. He is not even playing in the NFL playoffs, and he's been out for the last couple of months with a knee injury. Tom Brady at 7. You have him at 7 just ahead of Daniel Jones. That's disrespecting the GOAT, and behind Justin Herbert, who has no playoff experience. With DJ being at 8, you got to go to jail. And Brock Purdy at number 13, I'm calling cap on that. Why? Because in his first 5 starts, and since he became the 49ers starting quarterback, this is where Brock Purdy ranks among all quarterbacks in the National Football League. Passer rating of 119, that's first. 11 passing touchdowns, tied for first. Passing touchdowns per attempt, 8.9%. That's atop all quarterbacks in the NFL. Passing yards per attempt, 8.85. That is also ranking first. And his 5 wins tied for first among all quarterbacks in the NFL. Dan Orlovsky, I think you're great on ESPN. I think you're a fantastic NFL analyst, one of the best at that network. But those rankings of 1 to 14 for your playoff quarterbacks, bogus. So I'm going to put you to the test here, faithful. Where would you rank Brock Purdy? Let me know in the comment section, 1 to 14, where would you have Brock Purdy? He's top 10, no doubt, because of how he's played. The only reason Orlovsky has him down on that list, in my opinion, is because he's a rookie. Christian McCaffrey, like Brock Purdy, also getting some accolades as we continue to keep it moving live on the 49ers Report. He has been named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month. This Christian McCaffrey trade, change the trajectory of this Niners franchise and completely change this offense. And he's been phenomenal since he got traded to the Bay Area, as San Francisco, in games that he's started, hasn't lost yet. And over the past month, one of the best, if not the best playmakers outside of quarterbacks in the NFL. Total yards, 767, as he continues to be fantastic running the football in between the tackles, outside of the tackles, toward the numbers, on the perimeter, but also as a wide receiver out of the backfield and in the slot. Christian McCaffrey is that dude. 27 receptions and 7 total touchdowns. Those numbers good enough to get McCaffrey to win NFC Offensive Player of the Month. And with this McCaffrey trade, right, I've been saying this for weeks, and this is why you subscribe to the 49ers Report, because oftentimes we're ahead of the game. There has not been a more impactful in-season trade in the history of the National Football League than the acquisition of the 49ers trading for Christian McCaffrey. They gave up draft compensation for Christian McCaffrey, and at the end of the day, when you mortgage that draft capital, it doesn't matter, because the players that you could get in the NFL draft would not have an impact that Christian McCaffrey has had on this offense. He had nearly 2,000 all-purpose yards, and he has added a completely different element to this Niners offense. As a runner, as a pass catcher, he's spread out the field. He's helped out George Kittle. He's been a great benefit to Brock Purdy as a passer on some of those simple checkdowns, and we've seen him healthy, returning to that all-pro level where he had a couple of historic seasons a couple of years ago with the Carolina Panthers. The 49ers were struggling early in the year. They were 3-4. They lost to the Bears, Broncos, and Falcons, then got blown out by the Chiefs in McCaffrey's first game as a Niner. Since that acquisition, when he started games, the 49ers popped off 10 consecutive wins. He's one of the best route-running running backs of all time. His footwork is incredible. His devotion to his craft is really special. His passion for the game, I think, has been elevated with him being in a better atmosphere and a winning atmosphere in San Francisco as compared to Carolina. And the element, the play, the dynamic ability that he's added to this offense makes him the greatest in-season trade that we have ever seen in the history of the NFL, because not a single player that's been traded during the course of a season has changed the complexion of a team and had a greater impact than Christian McCaffrey on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, if you are subscribed to the show, I want you to type real one, because if you are subscribed and you continue to show us support, that means that you're a real one. We want to show you some love because you always show us some love, so type real one down below. I do want to welcome a brand new sponsor here to the 49ers Report, and it's a company that I've been using for a while so that I can look good on air, because you know the saying out there, look good, feel good, perform well, and that's what I'm able to do here on the Niners Report as we approach 75,000 subscribers. It is Geology, and they have one of the best deals of the century, 70% off if you head to chatsports.com/geology. Let me tell you more about their skincare products. Today's show, all brought to you by Geology, 16-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company, recognized in Men's Health, GQ, and Esquire. Geology creates simple and effective skincare and hair care routines customized just for you with ingredients that are proven to work. And right now, for a limited time only, they are hooking you up with an absolutely insane offer. Use our code ChatSports70 at chatsports.com/geology, or use our QR code, which we're about to pop up on screen, and they will give you an exclusive 70% off of their award-winning skincare trial set. Skincare shouldn't feel like a gamble, because it's important how you look to others, especially making first-time impressions. And Geology is the best in the skincare game. Geology helps you fight acne, reduce oiliness, prevent wrinkles, have smoother, hydrated skin, and puts an end to dark or puffy under eyes, which is something, thanks to my family background, that I've struggled with in the past. Not anymore, thanks to Geology. They also take care of all of your bathroom needs. I've been using their face wash in the mornings, their dark and puffy under eye cream, and their retinol night cream before going to bed, and my skin is looking and feeling great. And in the shower, their body washes are free of harsh ingredients that smell great temporary and are refillable, which is also important to me because since my mom passed away of cancer, I try to steer clear of those harsh chemicals that really ruin and take down your everyday life and your body as a whole. So head to chatsports.com/geology or the QR code on screen. Use our code CHATSPORTS70. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of today's video. It's chatsports.com/geology for 70% off, especially when you use that code CHATSPORTS70. To some Niners coaching news and front office news. Let's round out today's show by talking about that. So this coming from Ian Rappaport yesterday. I thought this was a really interesting tweet from Ian Rappaport. He said this: one of the most coveted general manager candidates, 49ers assistant GM Adam Peters, has declined requests to interviews with the Titans and the Arizona Cardinals per sources. While Peters has great respect for those organizations, his focus is on supporting the Niners during their playoff run. With this news coming out that Adam Peters has turned down interview requests with the Titans and Arizona Cardinals, you have to read the tea leaves here. And that's what I was doing yesterday and earlier in the week on the show. So let's read the tea leaves here on Adam Peters and him turning down those interview requests with the Titans and the Cardinals. If you go back to last year, you remember that John Lynch turned down a broadcasting job with Amazon for a reported $15 million per year. That is far higher than what he makes in his salary with the San Francisco 49ers as general manager. And if John Lynch wants to go back to the broadcasting booth, which is what he was doing originally prior to coming to the Niners to team up with Kyle Shanahan in 2017, and he doesn't have a lot left in the tank with his front office role, has Adam Peters been told that he is the general manager in waiting? And once John Lynch decides to step away and maybe go back to the broadcasting booth, that Adam Peters is next up because he too came here in 2017 with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and has done wonders in the player development and player identification process in the NFL draft after he came to Santa Clara from the Denver Broncos. Now, John Lynch was asked about his current job status as general manager. And as of right now, he has shot down the rumors about him stepping aside, paving open an opportunity for Adam Peters to take over as GM. He said this, quote, "I just had somebody come in and say, 'Hey man, is there something I should know?' I said, 'What do you mean?' He said, 'I'm getting all these calls that people are inferring that you're leaving the 49ers. I was like, 'No, I'm good here.' I think Adam just came in and said, 'Look, I respect both those places, but I'm very happy here.' I think that's a great thing. Adam's from here in Cupertino and is a big part of what we're doing. He's been big for me, and at the same time, I'm a friend." I said, "Peters, maybe you should at least talk to these people," but he was convicted that he was good in San Francisco and his family's happy, so I like that, and I think, yes, we have a place where people want to be. And if the 49ers are able to retain Adam Peters, who has done a great job of finding players in the draft, being a part of their scouting development, that's huge news for San Francisco. Since he came here with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan in 2017, the 49ers have hit on a bevy of draft picks, especially in the middle rounds and in the later rounds. And when those guys are able to become impact playmakers right from the get-go, that helps out your salary cap, which allows you to give Fred Warner a huge contract, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and soon Nick Bosa and hopefully Brandon Ayuk. Here's some notable draft picks that Peters, Lynch have been a part of finding in the NFL draft. Akilla Weatherspoon, round 3. George Kittle, round 5. DJ Jones in round 6. He's making $10 million per year now with the Denver Broncos. Mike McGlinchey in round 1. He's been better than what social media will tell you. It's hard to find a right tackle in the NFL. Fred Warner in round 3. He's become an all-pro and the best off-ball linebacker in the NFL. The 2019 draft class, one of the best in the history of this organization, considering the premier players that you found in Nick Bosa as well as Deebo Samuel in round 2. Mitch Wishnowsky, really good special teams player. In 2020, the jury is certainly out. And then in 2021, 2022, some really good players that the 49ers have been able to find. Dre Greenlaw could be a second-team All-Pro this year. 2020, Javon Kinlaw, Brandon Ayuk, Colton McKivitz, Charlie Warner, Jawan Jennings in round 7. And then in 2021, the jury is still out also on Trey Lance. Aaron Banks has been fantastic. Started every game this year outside of the season finale because of those knee and ankle injuries. Deommodore Lenoir is now starting in place of Emmanuel Mosley. Talanoa Hufanga named to a Pro Bowl in year 2. Elijah Mitchell, one of the best backup running backs in the sport in round 6. And then in 2022, this draft could end up being awesome for San Francisco. Drake Jackson round 2, Spencer Burford round 4, Samuel Womack in round 5, Brock Purdy round 7. All of these players this year have had a profound impact on the 49ers' success in the 2022 season, as now we're shifting gears to the 2023 NFL playoffs. And Adam Peters has certainly been a part of that. A big win if he's able to stay within this front office, because if he does, I believe at some point he could take over for John Lynch if and when he does step aside. Let's round out with this. DeMeco Ryans continues to get interview requests from a lot of openings across the National Football League. Carolina, recent, but the most recent that just came in just moments ago, Arizona Cardinals, the rivals in the NFC West. And John Lynch confirmed that the Panthers have requested to interview DeMeco Ryans, but he can be picky with where he goes because he is a viable and one of the best head coaching candidates out there. DeMeco Ryans has done a fantastic job in 2 years as defensive coordinator for this franchise. This year, the best defense in the NFL. They rank first in points per game, first in yards per game allowed, first in points per play, fourth in yards per play, third down conversion rate, about middle of the pack in the NFL, but the other numbers make up for that. Red zone scoring percentage is 20th, but opposing touchdowns per game, Niners number 3. So the red zone inefficiencies is made up for the opposing touchdowns per game. Yards per rush, they continue to be stout against the run at 3.2. Rushing yards per game at number 2, allowing sub 78 yards every contest. And they're led by Nick Bosa, who had a career year, one of the best years in the history of this franchise for any edge rusher, with a career high 18.5 sacks, 1 sack away from tying Aldon Smith's franchise record. And for DeMeco, it's been quite the rise for him in the coaching ranks because he started his coaching career only 5 years ago with the Niners as the defensive quality control. Great hire by Kyle Shanahan at the time. From 2018 to 2020, he was the inside linebackers coach, and in the last 2 years, he's been defensive coordinator. What happens next for him if he comes back to the Niners? That is also a win for this defense, and it's hard not to want to be here when you're coaching the likes of Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, but he was also a really good player, which is why I believe that DeMeco Ryans can be a great head coaching candidate. All-American at Alabama, Defensive Rookie of the Year, first-team All-Pro with Houston, and a 2-time Pro Bowler. And this is why I think DeMeco Ryans can be a very good head coach in this league. DeMeco has the necessary qualities and traits that you look for when you're hiring a new leader of your program and a head coach in the National Football League. When he was a player, and now that he's a coach, he's been a defensive mastermind. When he was a player, he was very successful as a former All-Pro and Pro Bowler. Excellent consensus first-team All-American at Alabama. And when you look at the traits that he possesses as an individual, great leadership qualities, great communication. His players rally around him, and they absolutely love and adore him. He has a strong presence, so he won't get bullied by some of these NFL players who sometimes feel entitled, especially in nowadays society, because he's so respected. People revere him and look up to him, and he has ties to build a really good coaching staff because of the coaching staff that Kyle Shanahan has been able to assemble over the last couple of years, and his ties to other coaches, both as a player and as a coach in this league. DeMeco Ryans, no matter where he goes, I think he's going to be a very successful head coach in the National Football League. Before we round out this segment, feel free to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is the same on both social media platforms, @Chase_Senior. Hit me up. Look forward to hearing from you.